Okay, so Wolves lost 1-0 at the King Power to Leicester for a brilliant Jamie Vardy goal. Um, in a result and kind of a performance which felt very Nuno-y, but also kind of felt expected. I think everyone accepts that Leicester are in that that higher bracket to us now. I think everyone knows that. But I think there were positives from the game. I think when the team news came out, I was kind of surprised, to be honest. I think we all knew Semedo probably wouldn't play anyway because of the COVID stuff. But for me, I'm still surprised Moutinho's getting persisted with. I thought it was pretty clear against who did we play? Celta Vigo. Subscribe to the channel, by the way. Against Celta Vigo, I think it was very clear that we looked better when Dendoncker came on, and that was kind of the pattern that happened today as well. And I think Bruno kind of probably has to learn from that. I think it's pretty clear that long term we probably need René Nuri and Leander Dendoncker to take this side a bit further forward. That's just my opinion, but I think I don't mind Marçal, and I think it helps Adama to have the more defensive fullback behind Adama because he doesn't do that tracking back, which Trincao did more than I probably would have expected him to. But for me, in that first half, it was it felt so. Whenever we got the ball, it kind of just felt like we were whacking up to Raul Jimenez and hoping something would work out. And I still don't get why we're playing Adama on the left. I understood it last season, completely understood it last season. It made perfect sense. But with Raul Jimenez back now, Adama can't use his left foot. We all know he can barely use his right foot, but we all know he can't use his left foot, and he's not going to put crosses in. So it kind of feels weird to be playing him on the left, where we know he's not going to put crosses in, and that's where him and Raul Jimenez linked up so well. And it did feel like kind of sometimes in this game, let's just kick it to Adama and Raul and just hope it works. I think sometimes it's a lot of it's Nuno habits, right? Old habits die hard. Personally, I would like to see René Nuri just to push us a bit higher at the pitch, and obviously Semedo will help that. But I also kind of wanted to see Kilman and Sace go a bit higher. Like, obviously I don't want us to play like Sheffield United did and have Kilman and Sace playing up front. But in that second half, Kilman took more risks, Sace took more risks. Obviously Cody can stay back, that's completely fine. I thought he was our best player today. But like in the last minute of the game when Kilman went on that run and did that nice little turn, it was nice to see that. We were pushing Leicester back, we were pinning them back a bit. And that defence is slow anyway, so there's no point holding it back when you've got Jamie Vardy anyway. And I thought we played the high line pretty well, to be fair. But when the second half started, Trincao started to look a bit more lively. It was by far his best game in a Wolves shirt, which is nice to see. He's starting to get better slowly but surely, which I think everyone kind of expected to happen, right? I still think Adama needs to go out on the right, but he had a better second half. Obviously, in that first half, I completely forgot, but that first half chance, it was huge. It was a minute or two after Jamie Vardy's goal, which I don't think... Maybe Marçal should have done a bit better to stop the cross, but that's just a great finish from Jamie Vardy. And that's kind of what, we lacked last season. And look, Leicester had chances on the break in the second half. Conor Cody put a great tackle in on Harvey Barnes in about the 70th minute or so, but we controlled that second half, very similar to the Celta Vigo game. And, it still does feel like these Nuno patterns are still in that side, kind of just lumping it forward, coming out in the second half and playing a bit better. And those things will take a while to coach out. And hopefully with some new personnel coming in, hopefully, if that ever happens, that should help the side push forward. And I think the team just needs a bit of a refresh. And when Semedo comes back and Neto comes back and Podence comes back and a couple of new signings come in, I think that will help the side. But for me, from this game, all I learned is that our defence isn't as bad as people say it is. I thought we actually defended really well against a pretty good Leicester side. When you looked at Leeds and Arsenal defences, ours looked way better, in my opinion anyway. Especially when you look at that defence, it's not great on paper, but I thought we played pretty well. But for me, the main takeaways, play Adama on the right, it just works more for me. And play Dendoncker. Bring in a few signings, and I think we'll be fine. So if you enjoyed the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, peace.